In 2012, Dr. Thomas Lister predicted in his book, Man's Greatest Fear, that it will soon be illegal for a woman to obtain an abortion in the United States of America. As of August 14, 2019, 10 states have passed laws which severely restrict a woman's right to have an abortion. Moreover, these states also have passed legislation that will punish a woman as a criminal if she chooses to terminate her pregnancy. It doesn't matter if the woman is raped or if she's the victim of incest, nor does it matter how old she is. She must give birth to the baby and devote her life to raising that child, no matter how many other children she may have or how poor she may be. The vast majority of politicians and religious fanatics who are obsessed with controlling the reproductive organs of women are men. These men are determined to force all women to give birth to an unwanted baby, but they will not spend even an hour helping the new mother care for her unwanted baby after she gives birth, nor will they give her any financial support for the child. If that unwanted child is abused, neglected, emotionally tortured, or eventually becomes a battered woman, drug addict, or a prostitute due to the lack of love and guidance from her parents, these men do not care. Since these men obviously do not care about the life of the fetus after it becomes a baby and is brought into this world crying for help, what is their real reason for forcing a woman or a young girl to give birth, to care for and support a baby that she does not want? The real reason that man has always denied a woman's right to control her own reproductive organs is because he wants to keep her in the home caring for his children and away from his male-controlled governments. Throughout human history, man has understood that the best way to keep women out of power of any male-dominated society is to keep them busy caring for their many children in his home. Man has always feared women, or more specifically, the power of woman to harness his violent and destructive nature should she escape from the nursery and kitchen and gain control of his governance. However, when man fears another animal, like a tiger or a bear, he kills it, cuts off its head, and hangs its head in his office or home for all to see and admire, as a sign of his power to destroy life. He considers the killing of another animal to be the epitome of power, and it gives him a contemporary thrill of significance, like a powerful drug. In fact, the pinnacle of man's quest for significance comes when he murders another man in war. Or, as the American novelist Lucy Ellmann explained, men like war. They do not hold much sway over birth, so they make up for it with death. Unlike women, men menstruate by shedding another person's blood. However, even though man fears woman, he does not want to kill most of them. Why? Because man's fear of woman is only surpassed by his sexual need for her. Consequently, his only option is to control her through his social mores, laws, and man-made religions. Therefore, as man corrals horses, cattle, and hogs for his own benefit, he also corrals or controls woman through his social mores, man-made religions, and even more through brute force and physical abuse. It is a biological fact of evolution that the two sexes are physically, physiologically, and emotionally opposite. Moreover, man is dominated by the hormone of aggression, testosterone, where a woman is dominated by the hormone of compassion, estrogen. The reason for the opposite but complementary characteristics of the two sexes is the survival of our species of animal. Simply stated, one sex creates life and the other destroys it. Or, as the dictator of Italy, Benito Mussolini, explained, war is to man what maternity is to a woman. Throughout his violent and bloody history, man has always gone forth in gangs, clans, legions, or armies to conquer and enslave other people and destroy their societies. It is therefore hypocrisy that man, who loves to kill, as indicated by his history of war, is repulsed by the thought that a woman should have power to abort a zygote in her own body. Moreover, Man gleefully wastes billions of dollars each year on developing more effective ways to murder men, women, and children of another society. But he proclaims, on the grounds of religious morality, that a woman must not be allowed to choose when and how often she gives birth. Such male rationalization is the epitome of hypocrisy. So I ask again, why does man force a woman to give birth to children she does not want? Part of the answer is that man fears the consequences should woman ever escape the confines of the kitchen and nursery of the home and gain power in his society. Man instinctively knows that woman will then harness his violent and destructive nature, and he never will be allowed to wage war again. And that would psychologically devastate men, like Sir Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of England during World War II, who stated, "War is the natural occupation of man." Moreover, most military men who dedicate their lives to war would agree with U.S. General George Patton's belief: compared to war, all other forms of human endeavor shrink to insignificance. As early as 800 years before the birth of Christ, man wrote of his love of war. It was the Greek poet Homer who proclaimed, "Men grow tired of sleep, love, singing, dancing sooner than war." Only woman can harness man's love of war and destruction, for this is part of the reason why man has always feared her. For centuries, man has voiced his fear of woman's power to control him. For example, over 2,400 years ago, the Greek philosopher Socrates warned, woman, once made equal to man, becomes his superior. And the Roman statesman Marcus Porcius Cato expressed his fear of woman when he wrote, "Suffer women once to arrive at an equality with you, and they will from that moment become your superiors." A more contemporary example of man voicing his fears of the power of woman was the author L. Ron Hubbard, who warned and lamented, "A society in which women are taught anything but the management of a family, the care of men, and the creation of the future generation is a society which is on the way out." Disguised in Mr. Hubbard's statement is his fear that once woman takes charge of a male-dominated governments, then male-dominated societies that perpetuate war would disappear from the world. Or as the Canadian physician Augusta Stowgolan predicted, when women have a voice in national and international affairs, war will cease forever. And so, in conclusion, it is solely man's fear of woman's power to harness his destructive nature, should she get the opportunity to do so, that compels man to deny woman the right to control her own body and abort an unwanted pregnancy. You can order the book, Man's Greatest Fear, The Final Phase of Human Evolution by Dr. Thomas Lister at Amazon.com. In Dr. Lister's next video, he will explain the second reason for man's fear of woman. The French novelist Henri de Balzac is one of many male scholars who have revealed the second reason for man's fear of women, stating, "Women are demons that make us enter hell to the doors of paradise." Decades earlier, the English author Sir Henry Savile also complained of the biological power of women over men when he wrote, "Women have more strength in their looks than we have in our laws, and more power in their tears than we have in our arguments." Understanding woman's sexual power over man prompted the Irish author George Bernard Shaw to advise, "No fascinating woman ever wants to emancipate her sex. Her object is to gather power into the hands of man because she knows that she can govern him."